Man who knows percentages and math and is also a big fan of football, happens to be the general manager of the Houston Rockets, kind enough to join us before tip-off, 4.5 hours before a very big pivotal Game 5. Joining us from the Orlando bubble, as it is known, is Daryl Morey, GM, Houston Rockets. How are you, sir?
Rich, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Do you want to answer the poll question first? You want to answer that one?
Oh, man, I don't know enough about the NFL, but the Patriots sound low. I don't ever count Bill Belichick out, and that organization is incredible, their track record.
So you go Patriots on that one. I don't count him out either, but I just, TB12, he's just down the I-4 corridor for you right now. What is bubble life like? What's it been? Have you been there since for the duration? Have you been there since the start?
Yeah, whole time. A lot of stress. A lot, I think we're all focused on the championship, but in the midst of that, obviously very important things going on in the world, and it's been definitely a time you'll tell your grandkids about. It's been interesting. The NBA has done an incredible job setting this up, but every day you're also hearing about terrible news out in the world. So we got to keep our focus on the important thing.
Well, I mean, and again, that's what Kenny DeJet Smith was talking about, in the previous hour, Daryl, is that it weighs on everybody that you're inside, a sealed spot, happens to be a place called Disney World, and that players are beginning to chafe about not being able to be out and part of the social justice scene right now. Obviously, there's a job to do, but are you seeing that from your players too? You hearing that as well?
Yeah, I think I was born in Wisconsin, so this one hit even more close to home. I think everyone's feeling that. We're in, sort of this, we're all in our different bubbles, whether it be our news bubble or an actual, pandemic bubble. We're all in these bubbles, but right now we're even more in one, and it just feels like you lose connection to the most important things. And but at the same time, we all have a job to do. So I mean, these tensions have been going on for everybody down here.
Well, I know that again, you've got a lot of on your plate, and you've got a job to do. And I don't mean to add information, man, to your hyphenate, but I'll attempt it right now. I mean, there is word that we're hearing about that the Celtics and Raptors might not play their game tomorrow because of what's going on out in the world, and that they feel like this would be their way of joining the social justice protest within the bubble, using Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals as a method to communicate their protest. Do you think that might happen? Are you hearing that might happen, Daryl?
Well, we're a player-driven league, and I think for good reason. I think one thing, both the NBA Players Union and the league and Commissioner Silver has, put the players front and center. I think that's what led to such a great restart here, and I think the players are going to lead again on this. And whatever's decided, they're gonna have full support. Just like it's very hard for myself. I can't walk in the shoes of some of the people who are getting killed, getting systematically targeted. But I can say I support them. I can say Black Lives Matter, and whatever the players come up with, I know we'll be fully behind.
Daryl Morey, Houston Rockets general manager, here on the Rich Eisen Show. As for the actual competition, let's get into it right now. What can you tell me about Russell Westbrook's readiness for today?
Yeah, this morning we got some positive in that, we had to see how he reacted to practice yesterday, this morning. That went positive. Still not 100%. We don't know what'll happen. He's going to, give it give it a go in warm-ups before the game, and then it'll be a game time decision with the medical staff and Russell, and we'll see. Obviously, a big impact, whether he plays or not, and we'll see where his body's at.
Would you term it imperative that he plays today, Daryl?
No, I mean, I think we've shown. Obviously, they're a very good team, and credit to Coach Donovan and the players. They made the adjustments that were needed after those first two games to really battle us and win two close ones. So I think we're very evenly matched. They're a very tough team, but we can beat them without Russell. Obviously, if he's back, that's a big positive for us.
Okay, so then what do you, let's just say what you've seen for the first two games over the next two games, just the ball not going in? I know that I know it sounds very simple that you've got to score the basketball, to use the phrase, but what do you what's your keen eye looking at the difference between the first two and the next two of this series here?
Sure, obviously, every possession is analyzed to the nth by coaches and myself while we're down here. I think it's pretty straightforward. We think we have a very good game plan against them, offensively and defensively. In 3 of the 4 games, we've executed well offensively. In 3 of the 4 games, we've executed well defensively. In Game 3, our offense, we just weren't crisp, and it was basically a tie game going to overtime, and they did what needed to be done to win. And then last game, our defense wasn't sharp, and most of practice yesterday was to clean that up. And it was, again, a one-point game in the last minute. So both times, we didn't execute down the stretch to win it, but we need both. Like games 1 and 2, we had both sides of the ball clicking, and we won by double digits. So we need that tonight, and obviously our job is to get it done.
Now, obviously, when it comes to your world right now, you're laser focused on a tip of a basketball, literally 4 hours from now, in a pivotal, and that is not just overstating it. Game 5, to look over the steering wheel would be ludicrous normally, but when Woj puts the name of your coach out on Twitter to be of interest to Indiana the day that Indiana fires its coach, Nate McMillan, it does require me to ask the question, if he's available, that Indiana would be interested in him. How do you respond to a report like that, Daryl?
Yeah, I mean, the timing was weird, but, Mike D'Antoni's a hell of a coach, so I'm not surprised people are interested. And, we love Mike, and he loves being here, so we'll work that out. And we've already asked and answered that. We're going to, meet after the season.
So why do you think there has been a spate of firings like that for the bubble? 4 teams, they get eliminated, and then all of a sudden they make a change like that. It's the 4th time, 1 GM and 3 coaches now we're seeing.
It feels not too dissimilar to the end of the season. I mean, I could be wrong, but basically we're at what would normally be the May time frame in the NBA, and that is when a lot of this is announced. So I think it's, obviously you don't want anyone to be fired, and but I think it's pretty normal to have, 2 to 5 of these things at the end of a season.
Okay, and then where do you watch the games from? Where are you literally stationed?
I mean, the bubble, you don't have many options. We got the yard we're allowed to walk in. We got a team room. We got a room. Over at the arena. I sometimes have a tough time watching the game live, so I'll walk outside the building in the little area they have for us. But that's where I'm at. No one should care where I am, though.
No, but I'm just curious about this. So you walk outside and there's a yard.
Yeah, I walk outside. I thought I was literally insane until I talked to Jerry West, and he told me he doesn't watch. So I felt slightly more normal. I figured, if he's doing it, I should copy everything he's done. He's won so many titles. I don't mind copying him.
Yeah, his logo's bigger in the bubble. I'll tell you that. I mean, that thing is monster large. Jerry West has gotten larger. But the way you describe it and you say, crazy, it does sound like Cuckoo's Nest. They give you a yard and you can walk in, and the only thing missing is the chief, I mean.
Yeah, no, We could use we could use the Chiefs sometimes. But that you're gonna chase away some audience there. Not talking about a 1970s film, but yeah, obviously, one of the all-time great films.
Daryl, I am who I am. I am who I am. I got Danny DeVito on tomorrow.
I make my staff watch old movies so I can make references and have them fake laugh at them. So it's great.
Did you just reveal your management skills? Is that? Do you really do that?
I really do that. Yeah, we'll host a movie night and every couple months, and I make them watch Airplane and Caddyshack.
Wow.
And Big Lebowski, and that. Otherwise they won't. I at least need them to fake laugh at my jokes, so I'm not totally depressed all day. So I need them to understand what I'm talking about.
So, you're talking about what, millennials on your staff that hear this is Caddyshack, this guy's name, this is Ted Knight, and Ted Knight used to be in Mary Tyler Moore, and you should know who Ted Knight is? Like, literally, that's a Daryl Morey moment for the Rockets?
100%. I'm an Airplane, Lebowski. Yeah, all that. Exactly what you say. And yeah, we have a very young staff. I mean, I'm sure you're the same when you've got such a successful show. I'm sure you got a lot of young talent coming in.
I appreciate that. The youngest is Chris Brockman, who just turned 40 across the way from me, and he always makes me feel old when I'm like talking about movies like Network, which, by the way, is required viewing for anybody in the communication business. You know, I mean,
absolutely,
big time for sure. You know what? And this is why we get along, Daryl. Before I let you go, you're my own. You're my in here. I haven't spoken to a coach yet, but I'll bring this up because we brought this up on the program. Was this just yesterday how we closed the show?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Did the coaches get together and make a conscientious decision to dress down for the bubble? Did they literally all get together and say that? Do you know?
Yeah. That I think normally a suit is required, but they. I think the coaches union, went with the polos as I said it should. I know Durant liked the dressing down. He mentioned that. I thought they should go with like the baseball strategy and wear uniforms. That would add some fun to the bubble. So,
that had like a Jackie Moon feel to it, as if they ever did something like that. But so they did actually get together and say, "Hey, when we go to the bubble, just leave the suits." Was it a dry cleaning concern? Like, seriously, I'm wondering. This stuff fascinates me.
I think it was a Zoom call. I don't think they actually physically got together. But
okay.
I believe the coaches union, which is a strong union, I do believe it was discussed at their meetings on Zoom, and So that's my understanding. You'd probably have to ask Mike D'Antoni or someone, but that's my understanding.
That's what I'd say. I knew you'd at least have your ear to the ground. That's why you're a general manager of note in the NBA. Thanks for the call, Daryl. Again, I know you got a big game coming up shortly, and I really appreciate it. Thank you for the call. You take care.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Rich. Congrats on Peacock.
Thanks, bud.
Pretty cool stuff.
Well, we'll chat again real soon. All right. You bet. That's Daryl Morey. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.